Welcome to podcast number 14 of our AI-generated news summary. Our first story is titled, Meet Zach XBT, the masked vigilante tracking down billions in crypto scams and thefts. Zach XBT monitors Bitcoin transactions for signs of criminal money laundering. Since Zach XBT has been funded almost entirely by cryptocurrency donations, he has never publicly shown his face nor revealed his real name or exact age. Many of the results of his investigations are unceremoniously posted to his website. He chalks it up to a malicious software update. He says he's still not out to get rich from his exposés. He has that experience, and he wants to change it, she says. He has no formal training or organizational support. The two men are in there. Zach XBT is the most prolific independent crypto-focused detective in the world. I've been hired by a victim to track down the thieves of his bitcoins. He's been tracking a group of hackers who were stealing tens of millions of dollars. I have no formal training or organizational support. Our next story is titled, Stock Market Today. S&P 500 snaps 3-day losing streak as Tesla surges 22%. The S&P 500 was able to push higher after 3 days of losses. Tesla finished up its best day in over a decade. UPS shares jumped more than 5% in the session on strong quarterly results that showed a jump in earnings and revenue for the first time in a year. In commodities, bonds, and crypto. In currencies, and commodities. In commodities, and in crypto. The Dow Jones Industrial Average continued its slump for a fourth day. The stock ended the day at $138.37, down 1.3%. The Dow was down 0.4% for the day, and 0.7% for last week, but up 0.2% for this year. The S&P 500 was down 1% for day, but 0.3% for next week, and 1.5% for 2013. The Nasdaq was down 2.3%, but 1.7%. The S&P 500 and the Dow were both down 1%, but the Nasdaq rose 0.1%. Our next story is titled, Bitcoin's Worst Return vs. Best of Others. After 6 years, Bitcoin's worst return eclipses the best return from all other assets. The variations in the best returns are near zero compared to Bitcoin. Comparing this to a broader universe of top 9 stocks yields a similar story. We want our readers to share their views and exchange ideas and facts in a safe space. In order to do so, please follow the posting rules in our site's terms of service. For confidential support, call the Samaritans in the UK on 08457 90 9090. Visit a local Samaritans branch or see www.samaritans.org for details. In the U.S., call the National Suicide Prevention Line on 1-800-273-8255 or visit www.suicidepreventionlifeline.org. For support in the United States, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-877-788-7070. For more information on how to help in the developing world, visit the Commonwealth Fund in the U.S. and the World Bank in the Middle East. Our next story is titled, Bitcoin Approaches All-Time High. What happens if Trump wins? Donald Trump appears to be gaining ground in the 2024 U.S. presidential election. Bitcoin's price has surged, recently crossing the $67,000 mark. What impact would a second Trump presidency have on Bitcoin policy and its price? The Bitcoin community largely views Trump's potential leadership as a boon for the industry, particularly due to his promise to remove Gary Gensler from his position as Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) chair. Banks keenly aware that their traditional business models are underperforming in today's economy. already have a compelling incentive to embrace Bitcoin. If financial privacy is not a priority for voters, one of the most significant capabilities of the Bitcoin network will be threatened. Leaders and developers must choose which projects will most effectively advance both the industry and humanity as a whole. The convergence of political and financial forces seems to be setting the stage for a new phase of Bitcoin's journey. What a Trump presidency would mean for Bitcoin is not yet known. But if he follows through on his stated Bitcoin policy, the price of $1 million per Bitcoin would rise. Our next story is titled, "Crypto is Getting Hammered Today." With Bitcoin dropping to $65,000, Bitcoin has dropped over 2.5% in the past 24 hours. The decline in Bitcoin can be attributed to mounting pressure on technology stocks. Ether, the second largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, has experienced a decline of over 3%. The yield on the benchmark 10-year U.S. Treasury note has continued its upward climb, reaching 4.23%. Our next story is titled, "The man named as Bitcoin's creator in an HBO documentary has gone into hiding." Peter Todd, a 39-year-old Canadian software developer, played a key role in Bitcoin's early development. Todd says he was under the impression the documentary would focus on the history of Bitcoin, not on revealing the identity of its creator. Todd is furious after being named as Satoshi Nakamoto in a documentary. If Todd is the creator, he would be one of the wealthiest individuals in the world. The documentary was directed by John Hoback, who previously directed the series Q. Into the Storm, which set out to set up the QAnon conspiracy theory. The end scene is really about his body language, Hoback says. That's what his expression reads like. Our next story is titled, "Institutional Inflows Power Bitcoin Surge Ahead of U.S. Elections." There is growing speculation about a correlation between Bitcoin's price action and Donald Trump's election odds. Trump has embraced cryptocurrency following broad support from the young and wealthy community. Bitcoin owners are equally inclined to support Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump in the upcoming election. This balanced support among crypto enthusiasts stands in contrast to the political advertising efforts of crypto companies. We've summarized some of those key rules below. Please read the full list of posting rules found in our site's terms of service. Simply put, keep it civil. Click here for the full rules of posting on our site. We hope you will use this information to help investors in the U.S. Bitcoin market has seen a surge in the number of institutional investors. This has led to an increase in the amount of money being invested in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's spot ETF market witnessed a net inflow of $294 million on Monday. This surge in institutional interest is propelling Bitcoin's prices back to an upward trajectory. Our next story is titled, "Bitcoin Doesn't Fix Everything, But All Roads Still Lead to Bitcoin." A popular meme suggests Bitcoin solves a range of global and domestic issues. This idea stems from the theory of sound money, which posits that sound money provides significant benefits over fiat systems. Proponents argue that, under a Bitcoin standard, governments would be forced into fiscal. Bitcoin will not prevent the coming economic decline. Rather, its adoption is a response to it. The global debt bubble has grown to $315 trillion. Or over 300% of global GDP, as reported in the IIF Q1 2024 Global Debt Monitor. These trends signal a shift away from a unified global financial system toward a multipolar world of regional, fragmented systems with high tariffs. If money is debt and these conditions reduce global credit capacity, we are heading toward deflation, not inflation. This is the environment that will cement the decline of the old credit-based system. The Bitcoin standard will be built on a sound money footing and will emerge on the other side of this transition, Bitcoin will become the foundation for a more resilient, sustainable economic future. Our next story is titled, The Rise of Bitcoin-Only Community and Event Hubs Around the World. Several spaces in the world offer Bitcoin-only discussion and serve as community hubs. They often take Lightning payments, a near-instant settlement layer for Bitcoin, for beers or services. Former President Trump made his first Bitcoin transaction at PubKey in New York City. The event took on a significance of its own as continued support for crypto led other nation-states like China to take note. In London, Cyphermonk House is filled with art installations that demonstrate, for example, the petrodollar and a press freedom dedication to Julian Assange. Vancouver is emerging as a Bitcoin hub with high amounts of merchant adoption. There are Bitcoin-only spaces in Asia, with Bitcoin House Bali offering a focal area for digital nomads. As they emerge, they serve as anchorheads for the next evolution of Bitcoin. Keep it civil. User accounts will be blocked if we notice or believe that users are engaged in intimidating, abusive or threatening behavior. Please read the full list of posting rules. Our next story is titled, Bitcoin is suddenly braced for a huge Elon Musk and Tesla earthquake ahead of critical price tipping point. Tesla chief executive Elon Musk issued a surprise crypto endorsement last week. Musk sold off the majority of the $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin he had added to Tesla's balance sheet a year earlier to secure a quarterly profit. Tesla is the fourth largest corporate holder of Bitcoin after Bitcoin mining companies Riot and Marathon and Michael Saylor's software company MicroStrategy. Bitcoin bulls are looking at next month's U.S. election as the tipping point. Trump has enthusiastically embraced Bitcoin and crypto this year, backing his family's World Liberty Financial crypto project. The Bitcoin price is up over 200% since its recent 2022 lows, thanks to Wall Street giant BlackRock's investment in the currency this year. It has surged back toward its all-time highs this year and is expected to continue to rise in the coming months, according to some analysts. Our next story is titled, These pro-crypto billionaires have endorsed Trump or Harris as Election Day nears. A handful of billionaires with ties to the cryptocurrency industry have endorsed and donated to campaigns for former President Donald Trump or Vice President Kamala Harris. Mark Andreessen reportedly donated $2.5 million to Right for America, a super PAC supporting Trump's campaign. Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban has publicly supported Harris, though he has not donated to her campaign. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has spoken favorably about crypto at various points, and his comments on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies often result in market shifts. Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump launched the cryptocurrency platform World Liberty Financial earlier this month. About $3 million of his $6 billion fortune is invested in cryptocurrency, according to Forbes's estimates, and he has called for the U.S. to become the crypto capital of the world's largest economy. Trump has said he is not a fan of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, but he has spoken out in favor of them in the past. He said he wants the United States to be the crypto capital of the planet.